I'm flying solo again. I just finished Gerald's game last night, kind of in the same way that I did before with Jeanette McCurdy's book. I was about halfway through. This is not a long book, by the way. I was about halfway through it, and then last night I stormed through the whole thing in one sitting, that second half at least. I couldn't put it down. It is an extraordinary book. If you know Stephen King, he's known for his horror stuff. He's got other thrillers, different types of stories he does, but he's known for his horror. So I thought this was going to be like It or Pet Sematary or The Shining. It's not like any of those. So if you're going to read this, know that going in. Spoiler free, basically. Very, very spoiler free. I'm just going to say, guys, if you can handle uncomfortable stuff, check it out. If you get uncomfortable with abuse and things like that, stay far away from this. It's pretty bad. But if you're like me and are interested in delving into that deeper side of people, going introspective also, this is going to be really good. So it basically starts off with this married couple that they're in vacation at a cabin by a lake, and they're doing some kinky stuff, and it ends up with Jessie, our protagonist, with her hands handcuffed to the sides of the bedpost. Her husband and her, about to get hot and heavy or whatever, they start getting into an argument while she's handcuffed. She kicks him, and he has a heart attack and dies. That's chapter 1. That's how it starts. Now Jessie is stuck in the bed with her hands tied, and the book is the main, I guess, plot of it is her just trying to figure out how to get it free. But the driving force of the book is her looking inside of herself. She's got multiple voices inside of her head that she kind of uses to cope with different sides of her, which is really cool and interesting. You'll see the words italicized in here, so you'll know when that other voice is talking. One of them takes the role of a friend that she used to have in college that she's not friends with anymore, and then it explains kind of what happened there. Really interesting. It's one character, it's one perspective the whole time, and she'll go into these things where it'll start off with her trying to figure out how to get a glass of water. It's close enough that she can figure out how to reach it. She can reach it. And that's really interesting, just seeing how she's the ingenuity in trying to figure out how to do that while she's tied up. It'll do a chapter or a piece like that, and then it'll jump into a memory that she has of being 10 years old. And there's a lot of trauma here, guys. It's hard for me to talk about it respectfully because I don't know where that line is for people and where it's where it's too much. So I'll just say that this really traumatic event happens to her, and she's buried it really deep. And I don't know anything about repressed memories, or I don't know that much, but I know that that's one way that people deal with that is they actively forget about it, or a defense mechanism happens where they won't think about it for years, and then it starts climbing its way back up into the forefront of your thoughts, and you're fucked up by it. And that's what happens to her. Yeah, that's the driving force of this. It kind of culminates with the idea that she can't physically get out until she can deal with that and confront it full on, and then she'll be able to free herself. It's kind of the concept here. I don't think it stuck the landing as much as I would have wanted to see. For my own personal taste, I think I would have liked a different type of ending, or I would have liked the events to play out differently. But that's neither here nor there. It's overall a thumbs up. You can see my background right here. There's a lot of Edgar Allan Poe references. I'm a big Edgar Allan Poe fan, and so whenever the lines were kind of matching this, or she was kind of referencing Poe in her thoughts, that was cool. But I don't know if I could catch the theme, why that specific poem was being brought up, or why that specific short story was being brought up, except that it just felt like a fun thing that King was. He just read a couple of his stories and he was like, oh, I'll just put a reference in here, which is fine. But I was more so looking for why was it being brought up at that specific moment, and I couldn't really figure it out. Whatever, it was late at night. It was fucking 4 a.m, so if I missed it, whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of Poe references. We actually just in Texas had an eclipse not that long ago. I say not that long ago, but so I had these glasses. There's a big theme in here about an eclipse in 1963, I think, and that's when like this traumatic event happens to Jessie, and then she's kind of remembering, and this whole thing is like going back and doing that. And another thing about this, I found out that the eclipse idea, it's connected to another novel that I think was published right after this or right before this. It was like one after the other, called Dolores Claiborne. And I, weirdly, whenever I found this copy of Gerald's Game, I was at the used bookstore, and I was like, oh, what makes me want to be interested in Stephen King novels, which I never was really all that interested in his stuff, not in a big way, but something about, maybe it was just the way the title looks on the side of it, or the font of it maybe made it look like they kind of went together. So I picked both of those books up at the same time, and having not known anything about either of them. So I'm looking at the front of this, a couple pages in, it shows you sort of the path of where the eclipse is going to be in Maine. And I had finished this, and then I kind of was sifting through Dolores Claiborne, and the first couple of pages has that map of where the eclipse is going, and you go, what's the tie-in here? The eclipse happens in both books, and they're separate things. I haven't read Dolores Claiborne yet. That's probably next on my list soon. So I want to see what that sort of connection is there. And apparently, and again, I'm kind of reinvigorated in terms of wanting to knock out some Stephen King novels. But I don't know that much about him, but kind of looking through what was the connection of Dolores and this, finding out that there's a whole expansive universe, that a lot of Stephen King's books are connected, like it's connected in some way to other things, and then he wrote a fantasy novel, or a string of fantasy novels, and those are kind of connected to bad guys in different books. It's a whole mess. There's charts. I don't know if I want to go that deep. Unless you're just the kind of person that gets really obsessive about certain things. I don't know if that's something anybody would want to do. I wouldn't recommend it for the casual reader. If you just want to just have a spooky couple of nights, I mean, I can't imagine going through 60-something novels and trying to figure out what all fits together. I can see that being very fun for a certain type of crowd, and certainly if you're that type, get into the shit. It's kind of cool to find out where all those connections are, and it's really interesting. Wasn't necessarily for me, at least not at this point. I imagine that I read a few more of his novels and get a little bit more interested in it. Looking back on this video going, man, if only you had read some of them before and you can be all into it now and know what's going on. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but this book is fantastic, guys. Again, it's that you got to be willing to go deep, and it's not necessarily scary in the way that, a boogeyman type thing. There is an aspect of that here too, but it's mostly just the terror and the horror of something dawning on you, some secret family history or traumatic event, and kind of wrestling with the feelings of that. That's kind of more the horror of this, and that it was super interesting to me. Definitely recommend it. I'm actually gonna bring the guys in on this and tell them about it, and they actually made a movie about it, which I haven't seen at filming this. I haven't seen the movie of Gerald's Game. I think it's on Netflix. I'm probably going to watch it, and if I talk to Jeremy and Art about this book, and we talk about the fact there's a movie, we might do a whole ass episode. Who knows? These are kind of free range, whatever type of things anyways, so if you guys want to see that, let me know. But yeah, guys, I'm going to probably end it here. It's kind of quick. And I'm probably going to start reading Dolores Claiborne like right now. I have the rest of the evening off, so I'm kind of just going to do that, I guess. I'm interested to see where the connection is aside from the eclipse. I'm sure that there's going to be something else, and I'm going to try to find it. So if I pop back in here solo like this, it's probably going to be that. If not, it'll be some other book that I decide I'm going to start reading and want to talk to you guys about. So on that note, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for taking a few minutes to kind of hear about this, and let me know if you watched the movie or read the book, or if you're gonna, and what you might want to see next. That'd be cool. But I'm gonna get out of here, you guys. Bye.